well, and so he said he was going to do I needed someone to shoot the front cover for it, and I wanted to find a really nice front door. We found one with a hedge that was like in front of it, and the only way you could get enough of the front door in the shot was to park his car behind the hedge on the other side on the road, and then kind of like lean over the hedge, and he had this huge sort of telescopic lens to take the photo with. And like people were walking past on the road and thinking, is there some sort of like peeping Tom going over this fence here? So
things we have to do, eh?
And then a couple of police cars went past, and it's sort of like, yeah, it's okay. It's sort of, we're just taking this for an album cover, and it's like, I mean, obviously that's going to be everyone's excuse now, I think. So,
now you lads are very busy at the moment. You're up and down the country. You've done acoustic sets, and you're in Germany. Do you feel things are moving in the right direction for yourselves as a band? Do you think the hard work's paying off?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we've had some nice feedback so far. We've had some like national airplay on the BBC for some of the songs on this record so far. Yeah, I mean, the Germany one was really good. I mean, it was 4 So Far sounds, which are like little sort of intimate acoustic sets that you do. We did one in Manchester before Christmas for them, and that was great. And it's sort of like the same company, but not. It's like the same company, but obviously there's different sort of divisions of it around the world, and obviously there's some in Germany and different cities around there. There's some in Spain, but they even have they've got ones in America and in like Buenos Aires in Argentina, and you name it, there's one there. But it's obviously the idea is that it's incredibly secretive. So people get tickets for it, and they go along, and they don't know who's going to be on it. So you I knew I was going to be doing the gigs. I knew I was going to be in Germany, but obviously I couldn't announce I was doing the gig until the day of the gig, which feels really odd.
Yeah, because normally you have a bit of a build-up, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, but I did. I mean, I ended up doing one the night before as well. But I've done a couple of things in Scotland as well this year. I did one in Edinburgh, and I did one in Glasgow on the day that David Bowie passed away, which was
I've seen
really
you made the comments on that. Yeah. That's on your Facebook page, like
it was like a surreal day. Like I mean, cause I thought with him, obviously Bowie did all the stuff about Scottish independence when he came out of the Brit Awards.
Yes, so he did, yeah.
And I thought there might be a sort of kind of not backlash, but a sort of a kind of not as much sort of empathy and sympathy for him as and nothing like that at all. And I was so, I don't know, I suppose people just admired the fact that he wore his heart on his sleeve in that respect. But yeah, that was weird. But yeah, so we've got we are doing a thing called Spinfest in Spinfields in Manchester, which is completely free, and that's on the 27th of March, which is a Sunday. We're going to be playing at Threshold Festival in Liverpool on April the 1st.
I see that,
yeah. We're also doing another gig that night in Liverpool, which at the minute is completely secretive, but we will be announcing that in the next week or so. We're going to be playing at Confessional Festival, which is in Blackburn, and it's an old converted church which has been turned into a live music venue. And I think last year it was headlined by the T Street Band.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's a mate of ours called Pete Eastwood who's putting it on, and he's got Jeremiah Ferrari, who I think he's from Bolton, and he's like a sort of reggae artist, but he's got a sort of wonderful half Bolton, half sort of Jamaican patois sort of lilt in his accent and the way he sings.
Imagine that sounds different, like.
Yeah, I've seen them at Beat Herder Festival, and they were brilliant. And then we're doing the IPO Festival at the Cavern in Liverpool on the 18th of May. We're playing at the Castle Hotel in Manchester on June the 5th, and we're playing at an event called Testy Fest, which is a men's cancer charity, but obviously panned out into a festival, and that's over in a place called Tosside in East Lancashire on July the 1st. And I think obviously I think you'll know Jimmy and the Revolvers. Sadly no longer with us.
Yeah, no.
But they played that last year, and Yeah. So I've been really keen to get on that bill, and so that's gonna be a good fun.
So people coming to watch you perform as a band, what can they expect? How are you going to dazzle them?
When we did our album launch, we played like a Bruce Springsteen-length set. I mean, some of the guys who'd kind of seen us regularly, they couldn't believe that we played for as long as we did with the energy that we did. And I'm quite glad I've been in sort of pre-season training. I think I might have died because I mean, some of the stuff off the new record is really sort of energetic. I mean, like Dance Till You're the Last One Standing is sort of like a Northern Soul song, but whereas most Northern Soul songs are like 3 minutes long and then you can have a bit of a rest. This is like sort of it's like going on for 5 minutes long with the kind of intro and the outro and everything. So it just sort of like take its toll on you a little bit. And I'm not even playing an instrument in that anymore. I'm just kind of like bouncing up and down and getting everyone. Yeah, exactly.
Do you enjoy the interaction side with the crowd when you do a live gig like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's that sort of thing where you've got to. I like the opportunity to explain some of the songs that we do and have a bit of kind of interaction where you're getting. You have a question and answer sort of thing in a song where that call and response feel. I mean, it works really well. I mean, we do that on like songs like It Never Rains on Mossley Hill, and that kind of because it's sort of like you've got to see what you can bring to a live setting that you can't do on a record.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what you've got to do, isn't it? As a band, you've sort of got to give them something a little bit different because competition's so fierce out there nowadays, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the thing is. On a record, obviously you've got to leave so much space, so that otherwise things just sound a mess. Whereas live, we can really take advantage of the brass. I mean, when we started using that like a lot more prominently on records, it was like a huge learning curve for me because I'd never really produced or done any production work with something like that before, and then I was being told, oh no, you need to have the brass really low in the mix, and I was like, no, it's rubbish. So I was like kind of cranking it up, and then we'd take it to a producer and a mixer, and they'd be like, no, this is why you need to do that, and then you need to have your space for everything. And whereas live, you don't need to do that, and you can just have everything sort of like sounding huge and. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So,
where are you most happiest, in the studio or on the stage?
When things are going well on the stage, because I suppose there's no place to hide, and it's like whereas I like the kind of creativity of the studio and the fact that you can come up with an idea and you sort of gradually build it, and then you have a sort of eureka moment that isn't necessarily a creative thing, but it can be a sort of a moment when you realise a song has sort of been born, and it's not necessarily when you come up with the first lyric or anything, it's when you first start listening to it and think, this is great, I like this, and you can, obviously, you have moments live which are like that, and you kind of, I mean, a lot of the kind of the call and response things were spontaneous in the way that they first came about, and so they had like a birthing moment on stage. But it's not quite the same as when you're in a studio and you first come up with a little production idea and you think, oh, that's just like made that song, and yeah, it's I'd probably say studio more than live, but yeah. I think the others would disagree.
Well, I suppose that they both have their own different things. I suppose when you're in the studio, it's you can get really creative, can't you? I suppose when you're on the stage, the buzz you're going to get is from the audience and having a good night and things like that, innit? I suppose really they're both two different things altogether if you think about it.
Yeah, it's like it's two completely different skills that you've got to learn, and I mean, there's a lot of people who are incredible live musicians, but capturing that and making it sound really coherent and really as exciting on a record as it is in a live environment is skill in itself, and it's not always easy to do.
Well, the amount of bands that I come across and they'll say to me, the CD sounds dreadful, you have to see us live, you know what I mean? That's the way that's the way they look at it. They think the record never quite. What's that about? How did that name come to be? It always makes me laugh.
Yeah, well, there's two parts behind it. The first was that the band was initially kind of my idea with with some mates of mine from college and university, and kind of friends of friends. And then it sort of died a death, but initially it was called the Rascalies. And yeah, which was great until very quickly I realised that Miles Kane, his ex-band, were called the Rascals, and I was like, it's far too similar, and
they're close, yeah.
So we couldn't have done that. So, and I really wanted to keep the R and the kind of that feel. And my nan used to call me a ragamuffin when I was little,
really?
And it just seemed really apt. And so it's sort of like a tribute to me nan a little bit.
I see, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Which is quite appropriate on Mother's Day, I suppose.
It is, yeah.
So,
it's fitting.
yeah.
Have you looked after Mother Dearest today?
Oh, I've been good. I actually bought her. I bought her the Suffragette DVD. So she's got a film to watch. Because I can't buy her flowers. Because I've got two brothers, and they always buy her flowers and supersede me. And they always, if I buy her flowers, they always come up with better flowers, and I'm like, you just end up looking.
Yeah.
So I bought that. I actually bought her Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. Because it's a mum album, isn't it? Not that it doesn't have like moments like The Chain, but it's the sort of album that you're like, your mum will like that.
Yes.
So.
I'm going to give your new song a spin in a minute, called What Was Beautiful, taken from your brand new album, which is called Over on the Shipping Forecast. Where can our listeners go and get a copy of this if they enjoy it?
If they want to go to our Bandcamp site, they can get a nice physical copy of it, which is on a little vinyl replica CD disc.
You're into your vinyl as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Well, unfortunately it's not proper vinyl, but it's obviously like a little replica thing, and it comes in a little sleeve and everything. And there's two at the minute. There's two different covers. When we do the next pressing, I think we're going to make that either 3, maybe even 4. And also, obviously, hold your breath in anticipation for that. So they can go to the Bandcamp site and they can get a physical copy, or they can download it from the Bandcamp site. Or if they want to wait for the official full-on mega release date, it's going to be on iTunes and on Amazon and on Spotify. You can't really hear me spitting on the air. But that's on March the 11th, so it'll be properly released on Friday, March the 11th. So we're kind of building up towards that.
Excellent. Dave, thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Yeah, been a pleasure, Doug.
And I'll give your track a spin, and hopefully we're going to see us in the top 20 on Thursday.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dave. Catch you soon, mate.
See you.
Ta-da, mate. Ta-da. That was David John Jags from the Ragamuffins, absolutely top fella. And this is a single off their latest album, Over on the Shipping Forecast. It is called What Was Beautiful. Have a go at this, guys.